Well, Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media, writing that just before the Inyo County Board of Supervisors approved the settlement agreement with Los Angeles Department of Water and Power over wells and mitigation in the Five Bridges area, Inyo Supervisor Matt Kingsley admitted there were subtleties in this agreement. Now, that was an understatement, Deb writes. Months of technical group meetings ending in a deadlock generally left the regulars in the audience scratching their heads. Now, the agreement allows LADWP to proceed with the 2-month test with defined environmental protections. It also clears up issues that floated to the surface during the nearly year-long process after well 385 was modified to pull from a deep aquifer. Now, another issue compelling the Inyo County Board of Supervisors to approve the agreement was the uncertainty of the county's litigation. In essence, if Inyo County prevailed in its suit on the inadequacy of LADWP's negative declaration on the pump test, a full environmental review could end up with the permanently off status of wells 385 and 386 removed from the area's mitigation plan. This according to Inyo County staff. Now, the 2-month test comes with a set of monitoring sites and depths to water triggers. Now, the water pumped during the test, 333 acre-feet, will go into the LA Aqueduct, but an equal amount of water will be diverted to the mitigation site during the growing season. Now, in an email, Inyo County Water Director Bob Harrington stated the purpose of the county's litigation was to prevent LADWP from unilaterally modifying or ignoring mitigation measures they had agreed to. The agreement allows the department to temporarily suspend the permanent shutoff status of well 385, but only through the technical group. Now, the technical group, made up of Inyo County and LADWP staff, has to agree to any measure. The agreement reaffirms the tech group's role in any future pump test, monitoring or mitigation plans or operation on both wells 385 and 386. Now, Owens Valley Committee member Mary Roper wanted the board to postpone the decision. Owens Valley Committee does not approve of the agreement, Roper said. Mitigation goals have not been achieved. She also questioned why these two wells, pointing out their proximity to Fish Slough and just outside of the boundaries of the Bishop Cone, an area under the hillside decree that requires LADWP to use as much water on the cone as it pumps out from under it. Owens Valley Committee also initiated a lawsuit against LADWP following the board's acceptance of the negative declaration. Philip Anaya asked the Inyo County Board of Supervisors to hold a settlement conference with the MOU parties, all partners in the process of establishing mitigation plans. You're leaving the MOU partners in the dust, Anaya said. Well, Deb Murphy also filed this story, noting that Friends of the Inyo, Sierra Club, and other environmental groups have requested the Bureau of Land Management take another look at its decision to allow for gold exploration on the conglomerate Mesa. Now, the BLM issued a finding of no significance impact for the project in mid-May. The formal request was sent to BLM State Director Jeremy Perez last week. This past Monday, the organization held a press briefing at its Inyo offices with legal counsel Todd Tucci on speakerphone. The request also asked for a stay during the 21-day review period. The company Silver Standard U.S. Holdings Incorporated geologist Angela Johnson was asked for the timeline on the project, and she declined to comment. The project involves 7 drilling sites in a previously disturbed portion of the mesa. Silver Standard intends to drill past the existing 400-foot holes to a depth of 1,000 feet. Heavy equipment, water solvents are all part of the process. BLM will require equipment to be helicoptered to the site rather than reconstructing the road built for the initial exploration. Now, according to Wendy Schneider, Executive Director, Friends of the Inyo, the old road is still clearly visible 20 years after the fact, despite efforts to restore the area to its original state. Now, this is the first step in a process to get BLM to rescind its decision. Now, according to Council Tucci, if the request is turned down, the next step is either an appeal of the decision to the Interior Board of Land Appeals or go to court. Cindy Kamler, executive director of WildCare Eastern Sierra, said there is no upside, no cure. Conglomerate Mesa was part of Kathy Bancroft's traditional homeland. A member of the Lone Pine Paiute tribe, Kathy Bancroft spoke of the cultural significance of the area, a place tribal members would go to collect food from the pinyon trees. I look at the view, she said, and I know that country tells stories. Both of Deb's full stories posted on our website, sierrawave.net. Well, once again, a local search and rescue team, this time from Mono County, aided an ailing hiker. Press release from the Mono County Sheriff's Office notes that on June 19th at approximately 11 a.m., Mono County Sheriff's Office was notified of a 70-year-old female that suffered a possible dislocated hip while hiking with her husband and canine in the Sky Meadows area near Emerald Lake. That's approximately 10,040 feet in elevation. Now, Mono County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue was called out, and 10 search and rescue team members began the hike to the victim from the Coldwater Campground trailhead. A search and rescue helicopter, Lasso 04, was requested from the Naval Air Station in Lemoore to assist with transporting the victim from Sky Meadows to the awaiting ground ambulance at Mammoth Airport. Mono County search and rescue members located the victim, provided care, and readied her for helicopter pickup. And the press release notes, despite the pain, she was stable and in good spirits. Helicopter Lasso 04 arrived on and was able to coordinate with search and rescue units on the ground the best landing zone near the victim. Now, after the victim was flown out, her husband and canine hiked back to the trailhead with the search and rescue team. And interesting and coincidentally enough, as it turned out, the husband was a search and rescue team member about 30 years ago. Glad everybody's okay. And from Inyo County, a news release states that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power will be performing emergency repair work on the Control Gorge Power Plant beginning June 26 with a projected completion date of September 5th. Now, water being released from the Crowley Reservoir will enter the Owens River at the Middle Gorge Power Plant and flow downstream through the Owens Gorge and into the Pleasant Valley Reservoir. Inyo County residents, visitors, you can expect extremely high water flows in the Owens Valley below Middle Gorge Power Plant. Now, LADWP's John Crook said normal water flow rates are at 55 cubic feet per second. Now, during this time period, the flows could be as high as 500 CFS. Now, once the higher flow rates have started, they will remain at these elevated levels until the Control Gorge Power Plant is returned to operation in September. Now, you might remember that last summer, due to the historic Sierra snowpack runoff, Inyo County officials cautioned residents and visitors not to float the Owens River because of the extreme debris and fast-moving water. Now, Inyo County Office of Emergency Services reminding residents and visitors that although Inyo County is not experiencing runoff conditions like last summer, with the planned water flow increased, calmer waterways such as Diaz Lake, Klondike Lake, and Mill Pond are safer alternatives to river floating. But we love to float the river. That full press release with many important safety tips is posted on our website, sierrawave.net. We'll be back with more news.